This story was shared on Reddit 8 months ago. The user's account was deleted within 48 hours. But before it disappeared, over 14,000 people had read it. Thousands saved it. Hundreds said the same 4 words in the comments. "This is my life." This is the story of a woman named Sarah. A woman who did everything right. Healed herself, grew, became someone she was finally proud of. And the man who loved her. Until she did. Sarah was 26 when she met Daniel. She was the kind of woman who apologized before she spoke, who made herself smaller in rooms so other people could feel bigger, who laughed off things that hurt her, because keeping the peace felt safer than telling the truth. Daniel loved that about her, not because he was cruel, not because he sat down one day and decided to find a woman he could control. It was subtler than that. It always is. He loved that Sarah never pushed back. That when he canceled plans, she said, "It's fine," even when it wasn't. That when he forgot things that mattered to her, she minimized her own disappointment before he even had to ask her to. She was easy to love because she made herself easy to manage. They dated for 2 years. She cooked for him. She rearranged her schedule for him. She once drove 40 minutes in the rain to bring him lunch because he mentioned once that he was stressed at work. And Daniel, he cared about her in his own way. But here is the quiet truth that Sarah didn't understand yet. Some people don't fall in love with you. They fall in love with how you make them feel. And those are very different things. It started with a book. Sarah's therapist, she had finally started going, quietly, on Tuesday evenings, recommended it. She almost didn't read it. It sat on her nightstand for 3 weeks before she picked it up one sleepless night. By chapter 3, she was crying. Not the kind of crying that comes from sadness, the kind that comes from recognition. From finally seeing something you have always known but never had the words for. She read about people-pleasing, about anxious attachment, about women who had learned, somewhere, somehow, from someone, that their needs were too much, that love had to be earned, that they had to be useful to be lovable. She read it and thought, "That's me. That has always been me." Over the next 4 months, Sarah changed. Slowly, quietly, from the inside out. She started saying no, not dramatically, not as a statement, just calmly, matter-of-factly. "I can't do that." 3 words she had never been able to say without following them with 7 more sentences of explanation and apology. She stopped over-explaining herself. She stopped laughing off things that hurt. She told Daniel, one evening over dinner, that she felt like she was always the one making the effort, that she needed more, that she deserved more. Daniel looked at her across the table like she had said something in a foreign language. "Where is this coming from?" he said. And Sarah, for the first time in her life, did not immediately apologize for her own feelings. "It's coming from me," she said. "I just finally started listening." Daniel did not handle it well. Not in an explosive way. In a cold way. In a distant, resentful, quietly punishing way that people who are used to compliance reach for when compliance disappears. He started calling her difficult. He said she was too sensitive now, that therapy was making her paranoid, that she used to be fun, easygoing, and now she was always making things into a problem. He said it casually, like observations. But Sarah felt each one land exactly where he intended. Then one night, After Sarah declined to cancel her plans with her friends to stay home because Daniel was in a bad mood, he said the words that changed everything. "You've changed, Sarah. You're not the person I fell in love with." He said it like an accusation, like she had done something wrong. And here is what the old Sarah would have done, the Sarah from 2 years ago. She would have felt a wave of guilt. She would have reached for him. She would have said, "I'm sorry, I'll do better. Tell me what you need." But the new Sarah sat with those words. She let them settle. And then she realized he was right. She had changed. And she was not sorry. Here is what no one tells you about growth, about real, genuine, hard-won personal growth. The people who benefited from your brokenness will not celebrate your healing. They will call it attitude. They will call it ego. They will say you changed, like change is a betrayal, like becoming more yourself is somehow a violation of a contract you never agreed to sign. Psychologists call this role lock. When someone enters your life while you are in a diminished state, anxious, people-pleasing, emotionally starved, they unconsciously lock you into that role. Because that version of you is safe for them, predictable, easy to navigate. When you break out of that role, when you develop boundaries, self-worth, a voice, it destabilizes them. Not because they hate you, but because they built their entire dynamic with you on the assumption that you would always be smaller than you are. And when you refuse to be small anymore, they don't know what to do with you, so they leave. Or they try to make you feel guilty enough to go back. The question is, will you? Sarah and Daniel broke up on a Thursday in October. It wasn't dramatic. There was no screaming, no throwing things, no final devastating argument. Sarah simply looked at him, this man she had rearranged her entire self for, and understood that she had outgrown the space he wanted to keep her in. She moved out of their shared apartment 2 weeks later. She cried. She wants you to know that. She grieved, not him exactly, but the version of herself who had needed him to validate her. That grief was real, and it deserved to be honored. But she did not go back. 11 weeks later, Daniel texted her at 11 p.m. on a Saturday. "I miss the old you." Sarah read it, set her phone down. If someone in your life has called your growth a problem, if you have been told you changed like it was something to be ashamed of, I want you to sit with this for a moment. You are not too much. You were just with someone who wanted too little from themselves. Drop a comment below. Have you ever been told you've changed by someone who only loved you when you were struggling? Tell me your story. I read every single one. And if this video found you at the right moment, you know what to do.